Committee on Agriculture and Agri-Food. I'm going to start with a few reminders for our witness today, just so he has some background information on how things work at the committee. Today's meeting is taking place in a hybrid format. The proceedings will be made available via the House of Commons website. The webcast will always show the person speaking rather than the entirety of the committee. Screenshots or taking photos of your screen is not permitted. Members and witnesses may speak in the official language of their choice. Interpretation services are available for this meeting. If interpretation is lost, please inform me immediately, and we will ensure interpretation is properly restored before resuming the process. Before speaking, please wait until I recognize you by name. If you're on video conference, as Mr. Gabara is, please click on the microphone icon to unmute yourself when it's time. And those of us in this room, your microphone will be controlled by the Proceedings of Verification Officer. Mr. Gabara, when speaking, please speak slowly and clearly for the benefit of our translators. And when you are not speaking, just please have your microphone on mute. And a reminder that all comments by the members and witnesses should be made addressed through the chair. We have a few substitutions today. I'd like to welcome on the Conservative side, Mr. Epp, subbing in for Mr. Steinley. And we have Mr. Aldag subbing in for Ms. Taylor-Roy. And Mr. Casey for Mr. Drouin. We are finishing up the study that we're doing on the food price inflation. We have one witness today, and pursuant to the Standing Order 1082 and the motion adopted by the committee on Wednesday, October 5th, we are resuming the study on food price inflation. I would now like to welcome our witness from Walmart Canada Corporation, Gonzalo Gabara, President and Chief Executive Officer. Mr. Gabara, you have up to 5 minutes for your opening remarks, after which we will proceed with the rounds of questioning from the various different parties. I will signal you with just a bit of a wave of my hand when you've got about 1 minute left to wrap up your opening remarks. Welcome to everyone to this meeting. And Mr. Gabara, I will turn it over to you for 5 minutes, please.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to provide Walmart's perspective on food inflation in Canada. J'aimerais remercier le comité.
I'd like to thank the committee for having invited me today and for giving me the opportunity to present Walmart Canada's point of view on this important subject.
I am Gonzalo Guevara, and I was recently appointed President and CEO of Walmart Canada. I may be new to Canada, but I'm no stranger to Walmart, having been part of this business for more than 20 years. We're committing to doing our part to help ease the burdens in the food aisles as well as in our general merchandise offerings. If you shopped at Walmart, you'll know that we are different from our competitors because our core mission is to help Canadians save money and live better. The Walmart brand is known globally for our EDLP pricing strategy, short for Everyday Low Price. This is not a stunt or a response to the challenging times we're living in. EDLP means when you shop at Walmart, you know you don't need to wait for a sale to get low prices. We strive to maintain a price gap compared to Loblaws, Sobeys, and Metro every single day. Our EDLP is what differentiates us from our competitors. By reducing the noise of promotional activity, it also drives consistency and efficiency with our suppliers and helps drive savings for our customers. With this philosophy, we proudly serve 3 million Canadians in-store and online every day. We operate more than 400 stores coast to coast to coast. We employ more than 100,000 associates in towns and cities across Canada. Our financially stretched customers have told us that in these inflationary times, our everyday low prices are more important than ever. Walmart has experienced other inflationary environments. I lived in Argentina and led the Walmart business in a country where inflation went from 20% 5 years ago to almost 100% last year. So I know that our customers and all Canadians are feeling the pain from inflation. That's why I want to state clearly, Walmart Canada is not attempting to profit from these inflationary conditions. In fact, Walmart Canada's gross profit rate for its food business actually declined last year. and our company's total operating profit in dollars also declined last year. The past 2 years have presented a perfect storm of external factors that have driven up food prices. These inflationary pressures are passed through the entire supply chain and ultimately impact pricing. While customers only see the final price on the shelf, the reality of food inflation is that there are multiple touch points along the way where inflation has taken hold. All stakeholders must do their part to control costs, from processors to suppliers to retailers. The current challenges don't change Walmart's mission to help Canadians save more money to live better. Fighting inflation is in our DNA. We've taken a series of concrete measures, including controlling our internal operating costs and identifying improvements in our supply chain to help ensure our customers have access to the lowest prices. In addition, we've worked hard to help keep prices down on our private label products, offering savings against many national brands. We're continuously monitoring our costs so we can pass on future savings to our customers. We're doing everything we can to fight inflation and keep prices low, but we also need the government's help. We testified at the House Transport Committee last year on how Canada can create a more resilient supply chain. We're pleased to see the committee accept our recommendations, and we hope the government does too. We've also made other recommendations on a voluntary basis in response to the Competition Bureau's market study. We trust the Bureau will thoroughly assess all information it receives and makes it independent recommendations to the government in due course. While Canadians are spending more on everyday items their families need, we are committed to doing our part to help them save money so they can live better. I would be happy to answer any questions you may have at this time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Guevara. Appreciate you sticking right to the time. I will open the floor for questions now. And colleagues, we do have just the one witness for the full hour. So what I'll do is I would assume we'll get 3 rounds in, or until the questions are exhausted. If either the party doesn't have any other questions, we'll maybe throw it around at the end if we have a bit more time. But I'm sure we'll get the 3 rounds in to start. And again, if there's some time at the end, we can address that at the time. We'll now start with the Conservatives. Ms. Root for 6 minutes, please.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Guevara, for being here today with us, and thank you for your statement. This committee has heard from many witnesses about glaring faults in the practices of grocery giants and how they treat our farmers and producers. And Walmart is already considered to be one of the worst amongst industry for imposing fees on their suppliers. And I've heard numbers like $900 for missing a label on a box or a bag of product, or a couple $1,000s for shorting an order even by 2 boxes. I've heard of late fines for truck drivers who were stopped because they didn't make their appointment time because they didn't have safety shoes on while they stay in their own truck. And it's this type of nickel and diming that makes Walmart stressful to do business with, and it also negatively impacts livelihoods of those who do. And when you find a wholesaler or a distributor, they can recoup those costs somewhere else down the supply chain, but a producer can't recoup costs from the dirt that they grow their food in. So the buck stops with the grower and the farm family, and those are the ones who are being hit the hardest. Thankfully, the unscrupulous fee structure of mega companies like Walmart has rightly driven attention to the need for a grocery code of conduct. So I just have a couple of quick questions to start off with, sir, and it's the same questions that I've asked the heads of the other companies, grocery giants that have come here before committee. Will you once and for all abolish all the fees, fines, and chargebacks and pay farmers a fair price, the price that's on their invoice?
Thank you, Ms. Root, for the question. Let me just start by saying that we engage with all of our suppliers in a very transparent and very clear way, and that we are both flexible depending on the type of industry that our suppliers are engaged with. We also give reasonable notice to all of our suppliers related to the way we engage with them. And as you know, many of the fees that you just mentioned are related to the cost of doing business. And our business has evolved in many ways over the years. And so we have evolved in the ways we have engaged with our customers by having these type of relationships. And so I would say that those fees normally go both ways because our suppliers also have their own particularly evolutions of their business, and we receive cost increases. So I think that we have a very transparent and very arm's length relationship with them. And in all cases, we are flexible and we consider each of our particular situations from our suppliers on a case-by-case basis.
Thank you very much. So the answer to my question was no. So my second question is, will you support and participate in the Grocery Code of Conduct?
Yeah, I didn't say no to the answer. I think that there's a need to continue to increase transparency.
Sir, I'm sorry, I don't have a lot of time here, but my question is, will you participate in the Grocery Code of Conduct?
Well, everything that brings transparency and that ultimately is for the best interest of all of stakeholders, including our customers.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
you. My time is short here. I'll take that as a no again. Sir, I'm pro-business, but I've mentioned that other grocery giants are nickel and diming with fees that are charged. Fees that are charged to suppliers by grocery giants such as Walmart amounted to over $6 billion for renovations to their stores, and a cost normally paid for by reinvesting profits in a business, not by creating new fees and offloading the responsibility on suppliers, farmers, and producers. In fact, Sylvain Charlebois called this supply chain bullying, and according to Fruit and Vegetable Growers of Canada, 44% of producers are selling at a loss. During the pandemic, Walmart announced that it would be charging their suppliers a new fee, not just an increase to the current fee structure. This was a new fee, and it was to be charged retroactively to pay for store upgrades, such as improving your online ordering system infrastructure. So my question is, did you go ahead and implement this fee during the pandemic?
During the pandemic, we updated the way we engage with customers, and we implemented a new fee. But we think that it was the right thing to do at the time based on the evolution of our business. And again, we do this in a very transparent way, and we consider each of the different situations on a case-by-case basis individually with every supplier. And we think that, again, we have a very transparent way to engage with our supplier community.
Most businesses, sir, reinvest their own profits in their business. They don't charge farmers and producers fees for the privilege of selling to them to reinvest in their business in their own systems. A farmer is expected to pay for their own systems when they're doing business. So it seems really unreasonable, and it's quite frankly shameful in this country that our big grocery chains charge what they do to our farmers and producers when it's not done anywhere else in the world. It just means that it's more expensive for consumers, and it puts Canadian jobs at risk. With that fee that you said you implemented during COVID, and we only have about 40 seconds left, sir, were there any exemptions to who was charged this fee?
What we did in the past with these fees was we invited all of our suppliers to invest in the growth of their categories as the business was changing, and there were natural developments in the way our customers were choosing to buy, and we thought that it was the right thing to do at the time.
Thanks, Mr. Guebara. I appreciate finishing up in a timely fashion. And we'll now turn to the Liberals, and Mr. Turnbull for 6 minutes, please.
Well, thanks, Chair, and thanks to Mr. Gabra for being here today and for your testimony. Look, I appreciated your opening testimony, and I want to sort of follow up. I know that in your Canadian subsidiary, you mentioned that Walmart has over 400 stores operating in Canada. And I note that online we can see that Walmart Inc., the global company, is reporting net income that has increased significantly over the course of the pandemic. So I would just note that in 2019, January 2019, your net income was $6.6 billion. That went up in 2020 over the course of a year to $14.8 billion, and then has started to decline gradually over the next 2 or 3 years. So, I see the trend, and I want to just ask you about the net income across your Canadian stores. Could you maybe quickly give us some of those figures, just so we can understand whether it follows the same trend line?
Yes. As I said in my opening statement, our operating profit for the year last year declined compared to previous years, and our gross profit margin from food business was lower than previous years. When we look at Walmart's business globally, it's a business that operates in different markets with different dynamics and with different businesses. So I think I can comment on the Canada business. And as I said, our profits were lower last year compared to previous years.
So your profits were lower on food items, is what you've said, in your Canadian stores. Is that correct?
So we grew our sales on food items last year compared to previous year, mostly as a result of the inflation and the price inflation, which is the matter that we're discussing here, of course. Our gross margin on those sales was lower last year compared to the previous years. And our overall gross profit for the whole enterprise in Canada was lower. And
Sorry, Mr. Gabra, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I have very limited time, so I'm looking for some short answers. I apologize. But when you say that your gross margins have decreased on food, are you comparing to pre-pandemic levels, or are you just comparing to the last year? Because we know that sales volumes have somewhat decreased a little bit, and we can see the trend line from your net income. But I want to know, from pre-pandemic levels, your food sales have gone up dramatically, and your gross margin would have gone up too, would it not?
No, in the case of our business, our sales went up during the pandemic because, as you know, we were counter-cyclical to other industries. So our sales grew, and last year our gross margin on those sales was lower than in previous years, for the reasons I explained earlier on this perfect storm around inflation and cost inflation.
Great. And in terms of the Competition Bureau, I know when other CEOs of major grocery chains came before this committee, they talked about voluntarily providing detailed financial information to the Competition Bureau. Have you done the same? Just a short answer, please.
Yes, we provided the relevant financial information to the Bureau.
Thank you. And I note that in some media reports that I saw that Walmart Canada had stopped doing price matching. I would note that consumer prices across a large cross-section of products, that when compared, Walmart did have the lowest prices in Canada based on the information I saw. So that matches with your opening remarks where you're saying everyday low prices keeps your prices low. But why? It's not true across every single product that your prices are the lowest. It's just that the average price on a basket of products is generally lower at Walmart by a certain margin. It's not that much lower. But I guess I can't understand why you would not price match any longer. Can you explain how that decision was made?
So that decision, as you know, it was made way before my time. But what I can tell you is that we work every day to keep our prices low. Everyday low prices is at the center of what we do. And I'm happy to hear from you, Mr. Turner, that you see those low prices in our shelves, and we will continue to work to keep our prices low to offer the lowest prices to Canadians.
Well, I appreciate that, but I think it would be good to revisit price matching because I think a lot of customers can use that to ensure that they get the lowest price. Would you consider implementing price matching again at your stores? Because it once was the case, right?
About 10 seconds. I know that's a lot, but maybe just answer the question.
Yeah, we used to have that practice, and with every practice, we continue to revisit what we think is best for our customers.
Thank you very much, Mr. Turnbull. And now, Monsieur Perron, pour 6 minutes, s'il vous plaît.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Guevara, for being with us. I would appreciate brief answers since our time is limited. Ms. Rude talked about imposed fees in 2020 during the COVID crisis that led to mobilization in the industry. This led, in turn, to the request to establish a code of conduct among grocers. Negotiations are currently underway. Are you involved in these negotiations?
Perron,
I'm sorry, Mr. Perron, but I speak very little French and I did not receive the interpretation into English. May I please receive interpretation in English? I would be able better off.
Mr. Guevara, there should be a button on your screen that allows you to change the translation to English. Can you see that there?
I think I
So
got
in
it.
interpretation, it says the... It's a globe.
Yeah, I have it in English.
Okay, well... so Mr. Perron, maybe try that again, and we'll just see if the translation comes through.
Alors, Monsieur Gebara,
Mr. Jabara, here is what I was asking. Can you hear me? Perfect. The fees that you imposed, there was a lot of media coverage about that 5% of your online business and 1.25 for the renovation of stores, and there was quite a bit of controversy around it, and many people asked for a grocery store code of conduct after this. Are you involved in the negotiations regarding the code of conduct? Briefly, please.
So we received a draft of the code of conduct very recently, and we are reviewing it. And as I said earlier, we would support any initiative that would bring better conditions and the ability to have more transparency in the whole chain.
votre réponse, Monsieur Gebara, c'est que
What I've understood is that the code of conduct, even if it was not mandatory, your company would work with others in order to ensure transparency and benefit the industry and consumers. Did I understand correctly?
Yeah, we think that we already work in a very transparent way with our customers, with all of our stakeholders. We have our own code of conduct and policy on how that should be done in our company. And we also know that anything that can be done to continue to improve the general conditions on retail, we are happy to contribute to that. As long as it's the good thing for consumers, we will support it.
vous allez vous engager, c'est une bonne nouvelle.
So you will get involved. You commit to it. That's great. Do you commit to reviewing it after about a year? One of our concerns is, as parliamentarians, is to implement this code of conduct, and it would just be merely symbolic, but it wouldn't have the actual impact that it should with regards to price fixing, for example. So after a year of it being implemented, do you commit to being involved in the revision period, yes or no?
Our business is a very dynamic business, and there's a natural evolution of the business all the time. So any natural evolution from the business should be supported with whatever addition or deletion to whatever conditions we see today. So I think that is just part of the natural way that we just need to conduct business.
Monsieur Gebara, je reviens à l'imposition des...
Back to imposing fees for renovating the stores, for delays, as Ms. Rude brought up earlier. With all due respect, even though you're saying that you're transparent, do you think that your suppliers have negotiating power. How does the negotiating happen between the supplier and your company?
So what we do in terms of negotiation is that we have this approach on engaging with our suppliers, again, in a very transparent way, arm's length negotiations, very, I would say, intense negotiations where we cover all of the merits of the business depending on the activities and depending on the different industries where our suppliers operate. And as you know, the supply chain has a different costs, and we have a
Je
position
vais
on
vous
how
interrompre
those.
parce que le temps est très limité. Donc, je comprends.
Our time is quite limited. Sorry to cut you off. I understand that you have some limitations. I want to come back to your profits and your profit margins. Mr. Turnbull spoke about your profit margins, and you mentioned something, and I want to make sure that I understood. You said you would be providing all of the data necessary for the Competition Bureau, who is currently doing a study on the issue. Is that correct?
We have provided all of the relevant information voluntarily that was requested, and that's already given to the Bureau.
Votre marge bénéficiaire.
About your profit margins with regards to food products, your store is very varied. You sell many different kinds of products. Your profit margins on food products, what do they look like with regards to percentage?
Really quickly, Mr. Gabara.
Well, as you know, we sell a wide variety of items, and in general, our margins on food items are lower than on non-food items, or as we call them, general merchandise items.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time's up. You got pretty good there, so yeah, I gave you a little extra because of the translation, actually. So we'll now turn to our colleague from the New Democrats, Mr. McGregor, for 6 minutes, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And thank you, Mr. Gabara, for appearing before our committee and answering some questions about an issue that many Canadians from coast to coast to coast are very concerned about. I want to change to a slightly different tack. And I just want to ask you, first of all, as CEO and president, what would you say is the average hourly wage of your sales associates across Canada?
Well, as we have said in many opportunities, we believe that we serve as a really good employment opportunity for everybody.
But with respect, I'm just looking. Do you have a number? Like, do you know what the average hourly wage is? Like the specific number?
Yeah, all of our associates make more than the minimum wage. So that's for sure. I don't have the average number at this point, Mr. McGregor, and I'll need to take that away.
I have looked it up. They say across Canada, it's approximately somewhere between $15 and $16 an hour. Does that sound about right to you?
As I said, I'll have to get back to you and without having to compromise anything that I'm not aware of.
Sure. You are aware that the food price inflation has been climbing at a rate much higher than the general rate of inflation, right? You do acknowledge that. So I guess what I'm trying to get at, Mr. Gabara, do you feel that your company pays your employees enough of a wage in order that they can actually afford healthy and nutritious food each and every week? Because, I mean, if it comes back to us that it's true that the average wage is somewhere between $15 and $16 an hour for you, a major food retailer in Canada, say that we can extrapolate that out to an income of $30,000 a year. Do you feel, sir, that your employees are able to afford to put enough on the table for their own families? And these are employees for you, a very profitable company that's selling food as a main part of its business.
Yeah. Well, the first thing that I'll say is that we are in the people business. Our people are who make a difference in our company, and we believe that we provide a very good environment for our associates to work. We are a values-based company, and we believe that respect for the individual is one of our main values. We have a very competitive pace in Canada, and I believe personally that we offer a very, very good environment for people to bring their true selves, to enjoy a very diverse setting where we appreciate everyone for who they are, and we enjoy the contributions that each of us make, and we provide very good development opportunities. We have hundreds or even thousands of cases of associates that have started with us what looked like a short-term job and ended up in a long-term career.
Thank you, and I'm sorry to cut you off. You know, time goes by quickly. I was looking at your investor relations website, and it stated that for Walmart International, Mexico, China, and Canada led the way for revenue generation. So in your Canadian operations for which you are responsible, overall, what has been the net profit margin for Walmart Canada?
Well, as you know, we are a private company in Canada, and that is competitively sensitive information. But as I said, we provided all that relevant financial information to the Bureau for them to consider in the analysis that they're making.
And how does the information that you provide to Canadian regulators compare with what your parent company gives to United States regulators?
So as I said earlier, our business in Canada is very different than our business around the world, and there are intricacies and particularities of the information. And so we shared with the Bureau, as I said, all of the relevant information for them to continue their study.
And Mr. Guebbara, would you acknowledge, though, with a lack of clear, like I understand you say that that's private information for your company and relates to your ability to compete. However, with the absence of such information, it lends itself to a lot of people trying to make guesswork out of it. And do you not see how being a bit more forthcoming and a bit more transparent could maybe help alleviate some of the crisis in confidence and trust that so many Canadians are having with large-scale retailers such as yourself?
We believe that we earn the trust of our customers every day in every store as we deploy our customer value proposition in all of our 400 plus stores across all of Canada. And that's what's the most important thing for us in terms of building trust. And together with that, we are, of course, voluntarily sharing information to the appropriate bureau to help continue the study so that we can continue to build trust and transparency.
Gregor, thanks, Mr. Guebbara. We now go into our second round of questions. We'll go back to the Conservatives, and Mr. Epp for 5 minutes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you sincerely, Mr. Guebbara, for joining us today as we tackle some of the challenges within the food value system. Before coming to this honored place, I had the opportunity to develop many relationships in the food value chain. And with this opportunities in this committee, I've had many suppliers reach out to me voluntarily without me approaching them with some statements. And so some have said that the fees and the fines that they receive feels more like a planned revenue stream for Walmart rather than a mechanism to adjust the behavior of suppliers. How would you respond to that statement?
Well, as I said earlier, we have we conduct and we engage with customers in a very, again, transparent and arm's length way. And we have a set of definitions on the way that we engage with our suppliers, by which we believe that it's the right way to conduct business. And we do it in a very planned way. We do it always, as I said in my opening remarks, without making last-minute calls. We know that our suppliers need enough time so that they can plan accordingly, so that then we can...
Thank you. I'm sorry to cut you off, but our time is so limited. You've mentioned transparency a number of times, and yet I have heard that some fees are a surprise to your suppliers. To your credit, to your company's credit, with negotiations, some of those have been rolled back with discussions. Would you acknowledge that adds administrative costs both to suppliers and to your company?
Excuse me, Mr. Rep, would you please repeat the question? I just got...
Yes, the back and forth in negotiating fees with your suppliers, would you acknowledge that that adds administrative costs both for the suppliers and yourself?
No, I think that many of those conditions are meant to reduce some cost, that's natural cost of inefficiencies in the supply chain, and we think that in many ways we can streamline those costs by having different conditions and solving for those problems in different ways.
Thank you. Walmart operates in many countries around the world. Can you tell the committee a bit about the differences in the American landscape versus the Canadian landscape from your Walmart perspective? Now, I'm not talking about your relationship with suppliers so much, but your own internal costs, your shipping costs, your handling costs, your packaging costs. We have a carbon tax that's about to go up again. Are you seeing that in your differential cost structures, Canada versus the U.S.?
Again, as I said earlier, the nature of our businesses are quite different because of the reach, because of the particular intricacies of each of the different markets, and of course the market conditions in each of the markets. So I don't think that they are comparable in any way.
Thank you. You mentioned that you just received the Grocer Code of Conduct. Is it correct that then you did not participate in the negotiations that led up to this draft?
We just recently received it, so we are getting engaged right now. And as I said earlier, we would support any evolution of that draft so that we can reach to create in good conditions for the whole industry.
So you are involved with present discussions?
We just received the draft, and we're going to get engaged shortly.
Okay, Walmart owned Asda, in the UK and sold it in 2021. So your company has experience with a Grocer Code of Conduct in the UK. Can you tell me what Walmart's experience was in the UK?
I don't have enough of information to share what the situation was in the UK related to the Code of Conduct, Mr. Rapp.
Your company would have that. Would you be willing to table a response to that question on behalf of Walmart?
The way we have engaged ourselves with Code of Conduct are very particular to each of the different markets, Mr. Rep. And so I don't know that we would have enough of information to share with you, but let me take that back.
Thank you. Some observers have noted that retail food prices can be, and the term often used is sticky, when it comes to adjust them downwards. And I know Walmart prides itself on everyday low pricing, but they seem to react faster on the way up. Can you comment?
Well, in my opening remarks, I made a reference about our EDLP philosophy, which is much more than just a commercial line. Our philosophy, it's always to be the last ones to go up and the first ones to go down in terms of prices. And we also, as I said, are very fanatic about operating at low cost and streamlining the supply chain network so that we can pass on savings to our customers.
Thank you, Mr. Epp. Thank you, Mr. Gabarra. I will now turn to Ms. Valdez for 5 minutes, please.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Mr. Guevara, for joining this committee. Looking at Walmart's profit, this was published from Walmart directly. It says that e-commerce growth was 17% and 18% on a 2-year stack, and there was an increase of international sales where Canada was ranked as one of the top consumers. So the first thing I want to establish is how much of these sales came from food, either in dollars or percent.
Ms. Vasquez, our business has grown, as I mentioned earlier, during the last several years on very specific conditions and very particular conditions during the pandemic. And as you know, our sales numbers in Canada are competitively sensitive, and so as I said earlier, we have shared the relevant information to the Bureau for them to continue their analysis.
There have often been discussions about the compensation of CEOs of large grocery chains. Do you know what the ratio of the gap is between executive salaries compared to the average salary of non-executives within Walmart stores?
Again, as I stated earlier, we believe that we have a very well-balanced and competitive pay in all of the different structures of our business. And again, individual pay by level of responsibility is also sensitive information that I'm not in a position to share right now.
What is Walmart's priority when it comes to providing basic necessities to Canadians? Is it to make the most amount of profit possible or to provide Canadians with the basic necessities at an affordable cost?
So our purpose, as I stated in my opening, is to help people save money so they can live better. And so all that we do every day is to chase that purpose and that ambition. We do so by streamlining our processes. We do so by investing in technology. We do so by investing in training and development across all of our organization. And we also do so by investing in growth and new capabilities. So we work every day to provide Canadians with low prices so they don't have to choose between the items that they like and they want and the prices they can pay.
Thank you. And I think I'm really just sharing this because Canadians, especially constituents who I've spoken to in my writing, feel that billion-dollar corporations such as Walmart seem to only care about making a profit, not so much to provide basic necessities to survive at an affordable cost. So during the COVID pandemic, some chains have increased the wages of grocery workers. And in view of high inflation, some have instituted price freezes on their brands. What initiatives of this kind have been implemented by Walmart?
Yeah. Well, first of all, let me say one more time that Walmart Canada is not part of the narrative of record profits during the time of inflation. As I said earlier, we decreased our profits last year compared to the previous year. And the other thing that I'll say is that we conduct our business engaging with suppliers in many different ways, again, in a very transparent and arm's length way, so that we can deliver that promise and that purpose that we have of saving Canadians money so that they can live better.
And my last question is, I had recently seen an article that reported that Walmart was overcharging customers as a result of a price scanning or error. In some cases, the misrepresentations were that cost about 5 to 10% more. This is where the price on the shelf doesn't match the price at a register. Could you elaborate on this?
Yeah, any error that we can have at the register, we have a very strict practice and policy that needs to be corrected at the cash register immediately, so that we can comply with the prices that we show on the shelf. And we have different technology. We continue to invest to minimize those price errors so that we continue to run a very trustworthy and transparent business with our customers.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Valdez. We'll now turn to Mr. Perron for 2.5 minutes, please.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Monsieur
Thank you very much. Mr. Jabara, you have been saying since the beginning of this meeting that you want to be transparent, but with all due respect, I think that there isn't much transparency in your answers when we talk about the profit margins with regards to your food products, that they are lower than your other products. But can you give us an idea, maybe what proportion it represents, the profits?
So again, our business is comprised of different categories, and I will repeat again that our food margins are lower than general merchandise margins, but that is competitively sensitive information.
Je vous remercie, Monsieur Djebara. Je comprends.
Thank you for that transparency. I understand that I will not be getting a clear answer. With regards to the fees that you imposed on your suppliers, and you talked about the development of certain infrastructure, what is that in reference to? When you ask your suppliers to reduce their profit margins in order to increase yours, what expenses were those pertaining to?
So we have announced a program to invest $3.5 billion in the Canadian market related with growth and growth opportunities. And so those investments are going to come in the form of new technology for our omni-channel business. It will come in the form of improving and investing in our supply chain network so that we can have the network ready for the new and modern ways that Canadians shop, whether they do it online and in the stores. And so what we have done is we have
c'est encore général comme réponse.
That's still very general as a response. One more question. Mr. McGregor talked about your employees' salaries earlier. Would you be in favor of your employees becoming unionized? Is that something you'd accept?
So as I said, our people is the most important thing that we have in our organization, and we engage with our associates in ways where we provide a very safe and great environments for them. And at the same time, we respect...
Merci,
Monsieur Perron.
That is your time. Merci. That is your time. Merci beaucoup. Now, I'm sure Mr. McGregor might be able to pick up on the union question. I'll leave that to Mr. McGregor for 2.5 minutes, please.
Yeah, I guess just very quickly, Mr. Gabara, I mean, your company has had a very troubled relationship with workers who've attempted to unionize in the past. You know, I think some of your stores' management shut them down in response to workers trying to unionize. What's your view on your present-day workers? If they tried to join a large-scale union and tried to do those efforts, what would be the response from the corporate board?
As I was saying, Mr. McGregor, we support and we provide our associates in many ways, providing a really good environment for development, and we pay very competitive wages. And we think and we have a very open and honest direct dialogue with our associates. Now, at the same time, I understand that it's each individual's choice to choose to engage with an associates federation, and we respect every individual's decisions.
Okay, well, we'll have to leave it at that. I do want to just get quickly to, you know, I'd mentioned earlier that many Canadians are experiencing a crisis in confidence and trust with large grocery retailers. And this isn't just happening out of thin air. You know, back in 2017, your company was implicated in a charge that it had conspired with other retailers for bread price fixing. And the Competition Bureau has confirmed with us that those investigations are ongoing. Some of them are criminal in nature. So we have heard, of course, from Ms. Root, she relayed the experiences that many of our producers and processors have. So we're getting it from both sides here. And I guess my question to you in the 30 seconds that you have, I think the onus is on large companies like yours to address that crisis of confidence and trust. And so how will you, as a relatively new CEO and president, address that? Because I do believe the Canadian public is owed something a little bit more than what we're getting from large-scale retailers such as yourself.
Yeah. Well, as I've been saying, Mr. McGregor, honest, transparent, arm length negotiations with our suppliers, and Walmart, we always comply with the law. We always comply with regulation, and we have our own code of conduct to run our business the right way. And that's what we're committed to doing every day to make sure that we can continue to provide low prices every day to our customers.
Thank you, Mr. Gabera. Thank you, Mr. McGregor. Now to our final two questions. There are 5 minutes each, one Conservative, one Liberal, but if you don't want to use your entire 5 minutes, feel free to let me know. Now to Mr. Lehoux for 5 minutes, please.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Monsieur Gabara, merci.
Thank you very much for being here today. With regards to your experience in various countries, you said that the costs were difficult to compare. With regards to transportation, are the prices higher in Canada? Simple answer, yes or no?
The supply chain networks, again, are not comparable because they are different based on the shape of the network. We have in different countries different businesses, and the way the network works is completely
Je
different.
m'excuse, Monsieur Gabara, mais
I'm very sorry, Mr. Gabara, but my question is with regards to the transportation costs. Are they higher in Canada than in other countries you've worked?
As I was trying to say, the cost, there's different ways to look at that, and I believe that it's difficult to do an apples-to-apples comparison because there are different components of it. But in the interest of transparency, let me take that back and come back with the team on that one.
ça serait apprécié, Monsieur Gabara.
That would be very much appreciated. In your food products that are bought with your suppliers, what percentage would you say is bought through the suppliers?
Excuse me, may I get the question again, please?
Oui, c'est rapidement.
What proportion of your food products that are bought are negotiated directly with suppliers for packaged goods, or the difference compared to fresh products? There's surely a difference, but if you can explain quickly, please.
So again, as you know, we have a very broad business, and our food business is less than 50% of our business.
Oui, Madame Rhodes, s'il vous plaît.
Thank you. Mr. Gabera, we know how Canadian food is produced, and our growers and producers provide Canadians with ethically and sustainably produced food grown with high standards. And I often, when I go into your stores, see more imported produce than local domestic. So how does favoring imports help Canadians by outsourcing supplies? And my second question, do you have any initiatives to support local growers?
Yes. So in order for us to fulfill our purpose, we believe that we are agents for our customers. And so we try to source in ways that are both responsible and also in ways that we can drive low prices. In the case of Canada, we have a very, very strong relationship with more than 2,000 local suppliers, and we source more than 20 billion from local suppliers. So we have a very, very robust program.
So, Mr. Gabera, do you favor Canadian growers then over imports for produce?
Yeah, for the most part, our produce is sourced from local sources.
My second question, during your tenured career with Walmart, you developed the Business Intelligence and Data Analytics division. Is your grocery chain storing and selling mass amounts of customer data to third parties?
Um, I haven't, as you know, I have been with the business only for 2 months, and I haven't been briefed on that. I honestly, that's not what we do. What we do for data analytics is analyze the business so that we can develop a better customer value proposition. But again, I'll have to take that back and get back to you, Ms. Ruth,
Thank you.
on a very straight answer.
So is the business development fee that we spoke about being used to gather customer information and fund development of technology to predict consumer behavior?
It's used to improve the ways in the ways we can engage with customers to continue to grow our business together with our suppliers.
Thank you very much. I believe my time is just about up.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ms. Root and Mr. Lehoux. Now to Mr. Lewis for 5 minutes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Guevara, for being here. Appreciate this. Previous Walmart Canada president said that he feels, quote, there's healthy competition in the market. And we're hearing there may be competition between a few companies in the market, but just 5 grocers sell over 80% of all the food we eat in Canada. That's Loblaws, Sobeys, Metro, Walmart, and Costco. And we've heard from most of them, so we appreciate your time being here today. You have a relationship with your customers, but you also have a relationship with suppliers, Canadian companies and farmers. And what we're hearing from questions and what we're hearing from constituents is this pattern of squeezing suppliers, that you're charging more and more fees to make those suppliers and food manufacturers' life difficult just because of the size that you have. And those fees and charges seem to continue to multiply. If squeezing Canadian suppliers is one way that you're saving your company money, those very suppliers are the same Canadians that may shop at your stores, and this becomes a fairness issue now. So you've said that your fees to suppliers are planned, but in my opinion, that doesn't make it right. So I just wanted to clear things up. Does Walmart find deliveries that do not make appointments on time?
So on the point of competition, I do believe that there's very strong competition in the Canadian market. I've been in different markets, and I think it's a highly competitive market.
In the interest of time, I just maybe skipped that. Do you know that if you do find deliveries that don't make appointments on time?
So we have different conditions in which we prefer not to charge. Of course, we prefer that everyone of our suppliers deliver their commitments in the way that they were committed. And we have different charges because operating in such conditions is troublesome for the whole supply chain network.
Would you credit companies if the deliveries waited to be unloaded, sometimes if they're waiting for hours? That seems to go both ways, right?
Yes, but we don't credit companies.
Do you charge a listing fee to suppliers to get their products on your shelves?
No. As I said, we conduct our business on a very transparent way, and most of the charges that we have are related to operational costs.
And also, I think we've heard testimony say that you've added a service fee on deliveries in order to pay for store expansions and new distribution centers. So can you explain why suppliers are being forced to pay for this fee for you to build new facilities? I'm not sure I understood your explanation well enough.
Yeah. What was defined in the past was that we were projecting high growth based on our investments, as I said, of $3.5 billion investment to grow our business and our supplier partners business. So that invitation was related to that growth opportunity.
Also, just in March, in the beginning of March, we heard the CEOs of Canada's 3 largest grocery chains, Empire, Loblaws, and Metros, all explaining they're participating in the creation of a code of conduct. Again, the previous Walmart Canada president said he would not support a grocery code of conduct. I'm not sure we've heard that you've changed your mind yet, but to what extent are you participating in those developments of a code? You're at the table. You said you just received information, but are you willing to go to the table? And what, with your experience in the industry, what provisions would be imperative to have you be included or to have you reject such a code?
So, as you very well said, we just recently got a first draft of that code, and we are starting to engage actively in the discussions around the code. And I acknowledge that in the past we didn't participate, but we are willing to participate now.
Okay, I thank you for that information. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lewis, and thank you to our witness. Mr. Gabara, you did have commit to table a couple of things with the committee. One was the comparison of transportation costs between Canada and the United States, and your maybe your mandate on data collection, if just to give you a bit of a reminder to table that with the committee when you have that information. I just had one quick question, Mr. Gabara. Well, two, I guess. Did Walmart participate in the Code of Conduct negotiations and process in the UK, for example?
I am not familiar with that. My understanding is yes, but I have to confirm that.
Well, thanks very much, everybody. We will adjourn this meeting for just a couple of minutes, and then we'll be coming back in camera. And thank you, Mr. Gabara, for taking the time to appear at committee today. Certainly appreciated your comments and your information you provided us. We'll reconvene in about 5 minutes.
Thank you.